Well, hello and welcome back. I'm going to follow on from yesterday's discussion about style, about your style, your drawing style. And I've got a comment that I'm going to use as today's subject. It comes from Michael. I've been drawing and painting constantly since primary school. I'm 48 and got a BA in the new media art from the University of West of Scotland a couple of years ago. Fantastic achievement. I still have no idea what my style is. Right. Fantastic. What an achievement. What an achievement to be in your 40s and still getting those honors for your art, which means there is some kind of skill there, is some kind of passion there. So let's have a chat about it. Okay, so to follow on from yesterday's video of style and your style and finding your style. Well, firstly, that came from someone's question about finding their style. They wanted to find a style. Whereas maybe you as an artist, maybe you are somebody who likes to dabble in some watercolors or dabble in some charcoal or dabble in some oils, or so maybe you're just enjoying the process of art, which is fine, which is okay. This subject is really about people that want to find a style, or maybe haven't really seen their style, which I see that as kind of Michael's situation here. Michael's situation, I've gone over and I've watched all of his videos, and I completely disagree with you, Michael. If I may. You have a beautiful style. You have a very kind of I believe it's some kind of digital software that you're using, but it's a kind of pencil based digital software. Is that correct? Correct me if I'm wrong. And so there is a kind of a pencil kind of hatching there, which I'll try to maybe I'll just try and explain a little bit of what I see. Now, for me to draw in somebody else's style is very, very difficult. And for me, Michael has got a very beautiful kind of pencil style with a gentle wash of color, a gentle wash of digital watercolor, if you wish. There's no kind of layers of watercolor, so it seems quite, the color is using the shading of the pencil as darker sides, so there's no kind of shading in there. But you know, for example, Michael's got this kind of, and forgive me if this is not really what you see your style, but your style, I would imagine, is like, I can kind of see like soldiers or miners or things like that. And I would imagine that it would be quite a, I'm drawing in Michael's style, not in my style, so, or attempting to do so. And I can see that your style would be beautiful for those kind of you know, like when you go to those kind of exhibitions about miners or something like that, you've got all those little drawings about situations in that, and I think that would be absolutely fantastic. So I can see your style is very clear, and the way that you kind of approach faces is quite realistic in a way, though the pencil kind of gives it a nice kind of texture to it. And you can see that he's kind of drawing in a style that's kind of, that I really do think that, you know, if you was to contact some kind of like miners exhibition or something like that, you would probably, or even miners books and stuff like that, and your style has very much got a a kind of a documentary type style to it. The way that you've drawn the helicopters and the way that you've drawn the faces and such like that. And I do feel like with that kind of shading that you've got going on there around, it's quite I believe there's one where the guy is wearing some kind of helmet, I'm not quite sure if it's a miner's helmet or a soldier's helmet, as I was watching on my phone. But the pencil style is quite kind of jagged, if you don't mind me saying jagged. And I do kind of feel like you have this kind of style that I feel would be very, very, very nice in a book about miners or something like that. In the same way that some of the very early Ronald Searle type of drawings were very much about soldiers and being in that environment with soldiers. And that style. Now it's quite difficult for me to draw in Michael's style. So there is a style there. And obviously with his BA for his work and going and you know, even to be brave enough to be going through university studies at a later age is in a, you know, I if I had my hat, I'd take my hat off to you. It's quite incredible. And so that type of style, I feel you have a very strong style. I can see it from each individual video. What you are actually doing is working in a similar style. You're working in a very similar digital pencil style, in a kind of jagged approach, and you have that gentle wash of watercolor on top. So I do think that you do have a style, and I do think that if somebody was to do some kind of exhibition about a town and what happens in a town, I feel your illustrations would be perfect. I feel something to document even old times, you know, factory workers, miner workers, stuff like that. I think your work would be absolutely very well suited. For example, if I was to do, you know, if they came to the two of us and said, Kieron and Michael, I want you to draw some things for a mining exhibition and all the old times people of that period and try and get the atmosphere, I feel I would struggle more than you would. I feel your style would fit perfectly. If I was to draw a miner, and I'll try and draw my version of a miner, taking from what you've done in your style, and I'll try and draw the same type of thing, but with my approach. Now my approach might for some people seem maybe comical, you know. So there is different styles for different reasons, and I really do feel like you have a style. I can very clearly see from your videos. Now for me, if I was to be drawing my miner, I might start with some ink. Don't like that pen. I might start off with the helmet. And again, I would have to research what the helmet looks like. I wouldn't be able to know straight off the bat of what a miner's helmet, though I do kind of feel like they do have some kind of light if it's a miner. If it's a soldier, obviously they wouldn't, but so I'm actually gonna make mine into some kind of miner. Changing my nibs here for the simple reason that I just don't like them. Now, my approach would probably have a more of a comical side to it, more of a cartoony type feeling to it. Not in a way that I'm kind of feeling it's a comical subject, but it's my style of drawing. And Michael's style would be something much more serious. And he did one there. And if Michael makes a comment, please go and have a look at some of his videos. Give him some support. Give him some likes, okay? Especially the fact that, you know, he has a BA honours in art. I don't. So fair play to you, sir. And I do think that sometimes people take their honors, their degrees, and kind of don't really see them as some kind of achievement. It is definitely an achievement, and especially in your, as you've said, you've been doing it for 48, or you are now 48. That's incredible, you know. The fact that people are brave enough, and I do say brave enough because I don't know if I would be brave enough to go back to a university and be taught, you know, Kieron, you're doing this wrong. Kieron, do it like this. I think I would find that very difficult. So full respect to you, Michael, for doing so. And my approach here is to try and draw my minor, obviously not really enjoying his situation. So it's very, very clear that if my style of drawing could not be used in some kind of exhibition, well, in an exhibition for miners or for soldiers or something like that, it might be seen as disrespectful maybe, whereas something more kind of done in Michael's style might be seen. And I do, you know, if I was to have any kind of criticism or kind of advice about your style, would be to, if it is a digital pencil, is to drop the oh, I forgot to do my is to drop the opacity of the pen so that you can actually draw it at a 60%, so that once you are doing that line and then going over that line, you're building up levels, and it will help a lot with the shading. It will help a lot with the shading of it, and it will build up levels of density of black coming up to a light grey. So my only advice might be to do something like that, to actually draw in a more, in the same way that, for example, if I was to be drawing with that pencil there, for example, you know, I might go in there. Can you see that? And I might darken up under the hat, for example, to help with that kind of, and that would just simply just to add more depth to it. And I feel like going from black to grey will help your illustrations a lot more. So my only kind of point would be that, my only suggestion. What is going on with my nibs today? And that might also give you that kind of I do sometimes dabble in the digital side of the world, and I do kind of feel like if I'm using a lot of digital pens, I do find that I need to kind of add a opacity to it. I need to kind of draw in like 30% or 60% or something to give myself that kind of that level of shadows, you know, and I do find that it really does help. But I can clearly see that there is a style there, Michael. There is definitely a style. Your style and my style are quite clearly very, very different. And I would really love to see you doing a lot more with it, especially the fact that you've got your BA for your artwork. That's nothing to sniff at, you know. Definitely nothing to sniff at. And if your interest is the war, and if your interest is mining and such subjects like that, definitely do more and post up more. Get people to see it, and you might find that you'll get a lot of people that want illustrations for books on that subject. Now, I don't really know too much about minors. I know the I know the Andy Irving song, "Only a Minor." Only a minor, one more is gone. I know that song about minors, but apart from that, I don't really know too much about minors. So again, you know more than me. And for any of you people that are actually listening and are interested in subjects of war or subjects of miners or any of that historical side of things, definitely pop over and have a look at Michael's drawings. You might find he's your new favorite artist. Now, in Michael's drawing there wasn't a tool, but I feel like my character needs to have a tool. I feel like he needs to. I'm really not enjoying these nibs this morning. I might just take a second and find one to replace. One of these broken ones. No, they don't want to work either. Let's take one of these ones that the gold nib looks ugly. Let's just grab one of those and put it in. Again, you know, it's just my mood, you know. I'm in a mood of kind of, all the nibs are kind of working against me today, so it's like, getting a new nib sometimes just clears the airways a little bit. So I'm kind of going to put something in this guy's hand, maybe like some kind of hammer or something like that. And again, I probably wouldn't even know what type of hammer, but I'm going to try and draw some kind of pickaxe type hammer. Maybe I'll do a flat on one side. spike on the other side. And that's him getting ready to go into doing his work. And again, we're just trying to think about, maybe he's got some kind of overall, some kind of like the kind of mechanics used to wear. Obviously now they don't because everybody's too cool, but in the old days people used to wear kind of like overalls so they didn't get their clothes all dirty. Let's even call him Bob. I'm using that splash that happened. So it's very, very beautiful the way that other people see the world, and I really enjoyed your drawings, Michael. I really did. I very, very truly loved to see your view of the world, your view of your subject. And excuse me, some kind of rocks and everything above. See, maybe there was, in the old times, maybe there was even some kind of lamps that were hanging, you know. And I like my style, because my style is a little bit more kind of non-real. I like my kind of bendy approach to my drawings. After years of being so serious with my drawings, I like to kind of bendy up everything. That's some kind of lamp hanging in the mines behind him. So that's my minor, and that is in support for Michael. Please, Michael, draw some more. You're clearly a talented man. With your own style, I might add. You have Michael's style. And, you know, I'm sure because of the university you have also tried many different styles over your time. And everybody has their style. Everybody has something about their artwork that is unique. And you're definitely unique. You're definitely unique. And I'm sure if you put in a link below, I'm sure some of these beautiful people will come across and have a look at your art. I think your name was Mikkel or something like that. I guess that's a kind of a trick of spelling for Michael. So if you see Mikkel making a comment, go and have a look at his videos. Yeah, you. And that today is my minor. My minor in support of Michael. And if I was to do some, once the ink is all dried, I would love to do a nice dark grey all around him to kind of give him that kind of in the dark, as most of these poor people lived in the dark almost. So it is a very, very, very serious subject. And if you are in the subject of loving stories of miners and soldiers and stuff like that, do go across and listen to Andy Irvin's A Prince Among Men is the title of the song, and it's about how how one man took the job as a miner to pay for his child's education so that he would never be a miner. And it's really quite a powerful song. One of my favourite people, Andy Irvine, one of the great singers, Irish singer. So, thank you very much for being here. Thank you for all the donations. Thank you for all the comments. And you are all so special to me. And I hope you'll come back later on for some more drawing. There we have it. The miner. That's especially for Michael. Michael, please draw more. Please do a lot more drawing and explore your style, because it is special and it is unique and it is very you. So I will see you all again very soon. Bye bye.